It's time for
It's Fanboy Weekly for all you geeks, nerds, and blurs. Let's get our geek on.
I can't believe I made it on time, even though I was kind of scrambling around to get some stuff together. That it's been a weekend. Welcome, guys. It is the Fanboy Weekly Show from the 5x5. I'm your host, David, and thank you guys for joining me. I've been tweeting, "Are you nerd enough?" I think that's kind of cute, right? Y'all like that? Are you nerd enough? But thank you guys for joining me. It's been quite a after last week I was at our first annual comic book and pop culture convention here in Southern Indiana, which was a lot of fun. If you guys have checked out the blog, the blurredhq.blogspot.com or the 5x5.blogspot.com, you will have seen some of the pictures that I took, and I think there's a video as well. I still haven't organized all the stuff that I did get it in a nice stack. I did get it in a nice stack, so I'm glad I'm glad that I was able to get it in a nice stack, and it's pretty and it's kind of together, but it's not. I still need to go through some stuff and put some stuff away, and some of my pictures. I is it vain for me to want to get the pictures I got with the guest? The professional pictures with the guest. Am I vain if I put them in a picture frame? I was thinking that it was like, do I need to put it in a picture frame? But I don't want them to get messed up. Although I've scanned them and they're on my computer and I can always print them out again. I want them framed. I don't know where I'd put them. Me with random people in the house. I don't know if that'll actually work. But so I'm still getting that together, but it's coming along, and I've just been such a lazy fanboy this week. There is so many things that I wanted to get done. There's like comic books that I need to take pictures of and grade and get them on eBay, and you can find some of my eBay auctions at DAY, the letter NEVV, or you can go to the blog, the blurredhq.blogspot.com, and click on the eBay auctions page, and you can see the things I have for auctions. A lot of them come off. I've sold a lot of stuff amazingly, but I just need to I wouldn't say amazing, surprisingly. Well, I shouldn't even say that. They should sell. No, I just need to get it more organized. I have a stack that I want to sell. The stack that needs to be bagged and boarded. And you know how us comic book people are. They have to be just right. And I need to get on it. But I've been a fanboy procrastinator this week. But this coming week, I'm gonna get it all together. I'm gonna get it done. So it won't be as bad as it is right now. And welcome, Mr. Ken Boggle, my friend and fan of the show. He says he bleeds blurred. And if you guys haven't heard me say what blurred is, BLERD, that is a black nerd. And like I said, I was a kind of a closet nerd before, but I'm a out of the closet nerd now, kinda. And Ken, what is TPURNOY? I don't know what that is. And Ken thinks I should frame my my picture, so I'm gonna take Ken's advice and frame my pictures. Ken says all his VIP photos are going to be framed and will line our living room. Cool. Oh, and by the way, Ken, for Scarefest, I see where Patty Starr retweeted that tweet. Very cool. Hey, Patty Starr, if you're listening. Hey, Grandpa Al, another friend of the show, and hilarious person. He always keeps me laughing while I'm doing my shows. And Ken, I didn't know he did this. I guess I kind of did, but he has a fanboy shower. And what his fanboy shower is, he takes a shower while he's listening to my show. I don't know how I feel about that. I have mixed feelings about that. I'd be really really happy, Ken, if you would get some of that Avengers shampoo and use while you're listening to my show. I'd really appreciate it. It probably won't do anything for your hair because I'm sure it's not that great. You know, some Pantene. Maybe they need to get Pantene Pro V. Of Avengers shampoo or Spider-Man shampoo or something. They do have, I've seen them, and they're really cheap. You can go to, if you guys have Dollar Trees in your store, in your cities, they do have those little expandable washcloths that are made of all the Marvel characters. You know what? Don't think about it. Marvel is everywhere. Marvel is everywhere. They're in the Dollar Tree. I mean, they have all the Avengers merchandise. They have comic books. There's all kind of stuff that's Marvel-ish esque in the Dollar Tree store. You know, pencils and stuff like that. You know, they're everywhere. They're making money hand and fist. Marvel. Charge less for your comic book because y'all almost broke me this week. And we'll get to that later. But I hope you guys are doing well. Like I said, I've been pretty lazy and getting some of the things that I need to get done. But it's going to get done eventually. I'm not going to be. I'll eventually get caught up, but. And Grandpa says I should behave but can't. It is in my contract. Well, I wouldn't have you any other way, Grandpa Al. And if this is the first time you guys have listened to the show, if you come to Spreaker.com and type in Fanboy Weekly, you can join us in the chat room, and you can see some of the things that I'm kind of interacting with my chat room as we go along here. So. Guys, what comic books did you guys get this week? What nerd thing did you do this week? What fanboy thing did you do this week? I got all mine out of my system. I did, Wednesday is comic book day, but I didn't go on Wednesday. I went on Thursday this past week because I had some things to do on Wednesday and I couldn't make it to the comic book store. But the thing is, with that, I ended up going to two because they didn't have a comic book that I needed or I guess wanted. But anyhow, the first thing I want to talk about, or do we just want to take a quick break? And that's what we'll do. We'll take a break and let you guys join in if you guys are just coming onto the show. Tonight we're talking about Afterlife with Archie, a comic that I didn't think I would like. Also, the most shocking stories or say deaths in comic book history, some of the most shocking. And GLAAD, the organization GLAAD, the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, they had their 25th annual media awards. I believe it was last night, and they always do an outstanding comic, and I'll tell you guys which one it is because I don't have it. I looked for it today because I was at the comic book store today. I need to stay out of the comic book store, right? And I'll tell you guys what it is. Also, a really cute app that I found. What else? And then my super duper comic book haul for this week. It was way too much, and I'm kind of mad at myself. So we'll be right back. Thank you guys for joining us, Fanboy Weekly. I'm your host, David. We'll be back. If somebody can tell me what that chick is saying, I, I won't pay you, but I would, I will be in your debt because I've played that song on different shows that I have. I have, of course, Fanboy Weekly, which we're doing right now, and also the 5x5 Late Night Show, and Real Talk with David and Nikki, The Drive. And I played that song, I know, on several of those shows before, but I still don't know what she's saying. But like I say all the time, I'm going to go with the chocolate box. Whatever that means. Maybe she's talking about me. Since I'm a black person, maybe she's talking about me and I'm the chocolate box. Maybe it's like a term of endearment. She's talking to somebody. I don't know. I'd be mad, if I'm with my significant other and she's like, "Hey, come here, little chocolate box." I don't know how I feel about that. That may not be that funny. And yes, I crack my own self up, so y'all don't gotta laugh at my jokes because I think I'm funny. That's all that matters, right? Welcome back. It is the 5x5 Fanboy Weekly here on Spreaker.com. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm your host, David, and I'm laughing at my own jokes, and and I'm talking about comic books and all things nerd. Are you nerd enough? That's our hashtag. See, normally Ken Boggle will give me a hashtag for the evening, and since he's showering, he didn't make one. So, hashtag Are You Nerd Enough? And you can do the letter R, U, nerd, enough, E-N-U-F. R-U-N-E-R-D-E-N-U-F. Hashtag that and talk to me on Twitter. And thanks for everybody who's been chatting me up on Twitter. Desert Rose is, hey, Desert Rose girl, where you at? You're not in the chat room. She just tweeted me and she says, laugh at my LMAO on chocolate box. Girl, you know what they're saying. Grandpa says, "Oh, he said I was thinking about doing a comedy show, but no one would come and play the second fiddle. I'll be second fiddle. I'm good in the background." And also, the singer's trying to find out where to put the bonbons when her jaws are wired shut. um, Desert Rose, if you're listening, what do you think the lady's saying on the chocolate box song? Is she saying chocolate box? She might have to. I'll play it again later, and so you guys can tell me. But tweet me, are you nerd enough? At the 5x5. Follow me on Twitter, and if you guys have an opportunity, I would love if you guys will show my other Facebook page, the Blurred HQ. And it's just like that on Facebook, the Blurred HQ. Show us some love by giving me a follow over there. And thank you guys. So many 741 followers here. I don't know why 741 people push like or follow. I do appreciate it. And this little show of mine that I've been doing, I don't know if I told you guys, I've been doing this for over a year now. So we have an anniversary or something coming up this week, a show. It's past my anniversary, but I have to, celebrate it sometime this week, right? And I've been doing it over years. So thank you guys who have, followed me on Blog Talk Radio over to Spreaker, and then the new audience on Spreaker, and then I still do things on Blog Talk Radio. So, check me out. Not check me out. Thank you, for letting me, talk crazy and be silly on this podcast, live podcast platform. I do appreciate that. It's been fun. I've had fun. And you remember this show, Fanboy Weekly, used to be Fanboy Friday, but even though I do work on Sunday nights, but for some reason it wasn't working on Fridays. So Fanboy Friday evolved to Fanboy Weekly, which eventually it would be turned into the Blurred HQ. Eventually, I get attached to some of these show names. Oh, thank you, Grandpa Al. He says, "Congrats, David. May angels guide you to great health, happiness, and prosperity." I need some money. um. Oh, I'm getting a ton of tweets. Thank you guys for tweeting. The Seventh Matrix, Desert Rose, Zombat. That's probably a bot. But anyhow, so before you went to break and I start running my mouth again, and I can be a little long-winded, so I'm gonna try to keep this under an hour if I can, because I know y'all want to hear me. Y'all got other things to do to hear me ramble on and on and on, because I can go there, right? So this week, I'll say this first. I'm gonna talk about my comic book grab later on the show, but I have to talk about a few books that I got that's part of a article that I read. Um, no, what I'm gonna do, we'll go. I'm sorry. This will be a good segue. Have you ever seen the comic books to where there's all this kind of crazy stuff happens? Because it's like it can be like a soap opera sometimes. Something like the Walking Dead comic book. It's a television show. It is there's a lot of drama. I mean, there's a lot of drama, and sometimes there's some sex. And I didn't know for a long time there are. 18 and over comic books, and I seen them the other day and I'm like, oh, that's where the naked comic books are. I don't get it, but obviously they do very well. I know there's some gay ones that get really, really risque. And if you listen to the Gay Comic Geek on YouTube, he shares all those. I was going to try to get into that market and maybe, sell them online or something, but I haven't in what's not invested. I haven't researched enough to find out if I haven't done the research, but I will. Not because I want to, because it's to make some money, right? Anyhow, but the comic books can be really, really, really. They can be controversial. They can have a lot of shock. There's like, it's like a soap opera. It's so crazy. You're like, oh my God, what's going on? There's love stories. And I read an article on CNN.com because one of comic books most loved characters, the All-American boy Archie Andrews from Archie Comics, is going to be killed. They're killing him off. Now, before everybody gets upset, it's not in the present day continuity. It's so funny when you think about continuity in comic books, how you have these comic books that have been around longer than I've been alive, and they're still the same age, right? Like Archie and them for real are like 75 years old. Don't let them play, right? They're older than me, but but they're going to there's a series called Life with Archie, which is takes place in the future, and Archie Comics has revealed that beloved character Archie Andrews will die in Life with Archie number 36 in July. The Life with Archie series tells stories of future scenarios for Archie and his friends in Riverdale. The present day Archie stories will not be affected. Since 1941, comic book fans have followed the exploits of teenage Archie Andrews. See, 1941. They're older than my mother. My mother's in her 60s, and my dad. Since 1941, comic book fans have followed the exploits of teenage Archie Andrews and his friends. This July, they'll find out how he dies. Now, the cover, if this is going to be the current cover, his shirt is bloody, and Betty and Veronica are hovering over him. Life with Archie number 36 hit stores on July 16th. And it exclusively tells the story of how Archie sacrifices himself to save a friend. Few details are known, but it seems fitting that Archie would go out a hero. The 37th issue, 1 week later, will end the series. So the series is coming to an end. I've never read a Life with Archie comic book. I know they're out there, but I'm going to pick up a few because we're probably at number 34 or 33 right now, just to see how they're progressing that storyline and see what's going on, just to see like, oh, okay, and just be part of that kind of it's history. Sometimes there's so many things that are done in comic books that sometimes visual media or or media doesn't tackle. But sometimes the comic books now are more valid because they deal with present day issues. And I always say about the X-Men comic books and the whole mutant versus the world is, it's kind of, you can relate it to the struggle for racism or classism. You can relate it to that. And so comic books, they're doing their thing. um and so the CNN article, they talk with the the CEO John Goldwater. Um, oh, and he's the son of the creator John Goldwater, spelled different, Jon versus John, and and they're asking him why they're ending the series. Gives a look into his life after high school and college, which has never been explored. Most fans are familiar with Archie as a high schooler, hanging out at Pops and with his friends. And this series shows what happens to Archie when he becomes an adult and starts dealing with grown-up issues. Which, like I said, I've never read them before, but so it should be good. So that's the one big thing that's happening. So if you don't collect comic books or you want to get started, this series is ending. This, you might be so moved that you might want to try something else, maybe another Archie line, which I will talk about that later. Is another big Archie storyline that's going on right now that's pretty interesting, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So that was the number one most shocking story. Number two was the 700th annual, well, not annual, the 700th final issue of Amazing Spider-Man. And some of these titles, you have, Ultimate Spider-Man, and then you have the Clone Wars. I do have the Clone Wars, by the way. You have all these different Spider-Mans, but this one is the Amazing Spider-Man. It shook the Spideyverse to its foundations. Even before the issue was released, some of the fans were up in arms on social media. The firestorm erupted after Marvel revealed that Spider-Man's alter ego, Peter Parker, would die, and the role of Spider-Man would be taken over by his arch enemy, Dr. Octopus, Doc Ock, in a new series called The Superior Spider-Man. See, isn't that crazy? I knew that Doc Ock was Spider-Man because the recent, I think it was number 200, one of the Spider-Man titles, Spider-Man was talking about how he had to clean up what Doc Ock messed up. Which, Doc Ock was the villain for so many years. I don't follow a lot of the Spider-Man stuff. I didn't even get that 200th issue, which I could have, but I didn't because I don't follow the series. I know he was one of the Spider-Mans was a young Latino guy, but I get that on Free Comic Book Day, right? Anyhow, so number 3 is Justice League, number 12. So much for the famous romance between Superman and Lois Lane. The Man of Steel sought solace in the arms of Wonder Woman starting in 2012. Justice League number 12 potentially turning the league on its head. It was just the latest major change after DC Comics hit a reset button of sorts of the year earlier, relaunching and revising its famous characters in the new 52s. I was one of those people who was like, oh, here they go again. They've had all these crises to change the continuity, to clean up the continuity. It never works because you get these different writers in here that for lack of a better word, when they create different scenarios, it creates a paradox in the universe. And so they're like, oh, it's time travel, it's a different Earth, and all that kind of stuff. I never liked that myself. But so the whole Wonder Woman Superman, I like the idea of Wonder Woman Superman to be together. That's one of the comics that I collect right now because it's a good story. And I'll talk about the most recent issue here coming up. So that was number 3. Number 4 was in Earth 2, TWO, number 2, released in 2012, Alan Scott, the first Green Lantern, was introduced as a gay man. Woohoo! The hoopla around the revelation was criticized by some as exploitation. So that's another thing. A lot of these comics are coming back, not coming back, they're introducing gay characters. We had North Star get married a couple years ago. We have Kevin Keller from the Archie series. That's one of the first gay Archie series character. Batwoman, who's gay, proposed to her wife, and that raised a big hoopla over at DC when the writers walked off the series because DC wouldn't let them put the wedding inside the book, and they're like, we're done, so they left. So you remember that. So that was Earth 2. It's another DC comic. Number 2, I don't have that one. by the way. DC's decision to release a series of prequels to the classic Watchmen caused a heated debate in early 2012. The original's writer, Alan Moore, described the move as completely shameless. He said, I don't want the money. What I want is for not to happen. Catch it. That was number 5. The Watchmen, big graphic novel. It's one that in the top 10, history wise. And remember, it had that movie that wasn't all that great because people didn't understand it because it was almost too gritty and kind of grimy for moviegoers and comic book people that was being introduced into comic book movies for people. So I hope that the same thing doesn't happen to Guardians of the Galaxy, which I don't think it will. But the Watchmen, people, if you didn't read comic books, you didn't know that existed. So as a comic book movie, people expected something different, but it kind of went to a dark place, and I think it turned a lot of people off. Although I think it did good, but not as good as they would have hoped. Number 6. And I didn't know this. If you guys listen to the show, I'm one of the biggest Buffy the Vampire Slayer fans out there. If I was on a TV show called Buffy the Vampire Slayer Trivia, I would win because I know everything there is to know about Buffy. The 5x5 comes from Buffy. Remember Faith used to say she's 5x5? That comes from Buffy. Anyhow, and I didn't know this, and I would like to have this book or this issue where this happened. Buffy Summers decided to terminate her pregnancy in the 6th and 7th issues of Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 9 in 2011. Abortion is not a topic discussed very often in comics, and the storyline received a good deal of attention online and in the media. I don't know where I was. I was in the transition phase in 2011. I was moving from Atlanta at the end of the year, and a lot of things happened that wasn't the best in this fanboy's life. A lot of things happened, so maybe that's why I missed it. So Buffy terminated her pregnancy. I wonder who she was pregnant by. Anybody knows? Tweet me. I'll find out. Let's see. Number 7. After Superman took the side of Iranian descendants in 2011's Action Comics number 900, he decided to renounce his American citizenship because he did not want his actions to be seen as a U.S. policy. The pre-New 52 story was criticized, especially considering his old slogan was Truth, Justice, and the American Way. People lost their mind. I didn't know that either. So I'm rambling, so I'm going to take a quick break. We'll do the next 7, then we'll talk about some other stuff. We'll be right back. We're going to play the song again because I want you guys to tell me what they're saying in this song, but I'm not going to play it for a long time.
Come and take a look, open up my chocolate box. I bet you like a tea. I don't know what you can brush. I think you like a lot. A chocolate box. A chocolate box. A chocolate box. My chocolate box.
That is the funniest song ever, right? That is "There You Go" by Cam Byrne. That's kind of hot, right? But it makes you want to dance. It's kind of a throwback song with some scratching. That was me scratching in the middle of it because I was an '80s kid, so I learned how to do that early on in my musical. No, that really wasn't me. Welcome back. It's the 5x5 Fanboy Weekly. I'm your host, David. And thank you guys for checking me out here while I kind of blurred out, so to speak, and talk about things that I absolutely love. Actually, I love doing this show more and more now. Not that I didn't love it before, but because I can just say what I want, and my opinions are my opinions on comic books, and I enjoy it. It's fun. It's kind of a release. And also, I'm glad I have one more day to work this week. Well, my work week. Tomorrow is my Friday. I might work Tuesday, but it's supposed to snow. You know what? Old Man Winter is. Somebody said that I talk like a country boy. The other day I was somewhere, and they're like, "Wow, that sounds really country." I'm like, do y'all think I sound country? I know sometimes I do, and that's for me. For one, being in the southern Indiana and Midwest, there's one type of accent once you cross the river, but there's two when you live in Georgia. Because I definitely picked up a lot of, because all my friends from down there were natives. A good majority of them were natives. So, hanging out with them, I'd start talking like them. And that was a long time. So you pick up the dialect and, the pronunciations and stuff like that. And so I'm like, oh, do I sound that country? And I was somewhere the other day and I forget what I said. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty bad. So I'm working to get rid of my accent because I don't want to sound country. No, I really don't care. It's me. And I have no idea what I was talking about. But anyhow, we're back. So we were doing some of the 14 of the most controversial, shocking topics in comicdom. So number 8 was, which I remember this one, another pre-New 52 splash was made when Wonder Woman was given a new costume. Remember when she had the leggings and the jacket and the really bad hair and crazy bracelets, the Wonder Woman bracelets. And they gave her a new costume, a big departure from the one she had been wearing for nearly 75 years. The Amazon Princess costume was changed yet again. It was more like the one in the New 52 currently, which it works. But this came out at the same time, right? It was right after, or right around the same time when, was it Andrea Palicki was going to play Wonder Woman in the television series, and she was running around them pants, and fanboys and fangirls lost their mind, which if they had watched the pilot, that was just one of the outfits. And if you remember the Linda Carter Wonder Woman back in the 70s, how Wonder Woman would she would twirl and spin and kick and turn. She had a swimming outfit that was like a bodysuit. She also had a motorcycle outfit, and she had that long fabulous cape that she would twirl around in when she was being a diplomat. And then, of course, the main, kind of iconic Wonder Woman costume with the satin tights and the little blue and red bikini, which was controversial for the 70s. But they wouldn't have in this one. It was really ugly. I don't know whose idea that was, but the whole thing with the Wonder Woman series, at the end, her battle outfit was the traditional one. So that was another controversial story. Number 9 was Captain America's assassination, seen as a symbolic of attitudes toward the U.S. at the time, was the most talked about comic book storyline in 2007. Captain America number 25 sold through the roof after the story received huge media attention. Cap eventually returned in 2009, but not before his former sidekick Bucky Barnes took charge of the famous Mask and Shield. Now, if you guys have seen Captain America, there was an Easter egg with Bucky Barnes holding the shield, which is probably is foreshadowing of things to come. They're going to follow. Obviously, they're going to follow the comic book with the Captain America series because, as you know, Chris Evans has only 3 more movies to do. So that's going to be Avengers number 2, Captain America number 3, and Avengers number 3. And that's it. And the guy who played Bucky Barnes, he has a 9 movie deal and he's only been in 2. So if that lets you know how what they're going to do with Chris Evans, but they'll probably reintroduce him like the comic books. That would be a great story for a Captain America comic book. I mean, for the Captain America movie franchise. Just saying. Anyhow, and then another Captain America, Marvel Comics admitted to a lettering error. Caused a group of protesters to be identified as members of the Tea Party movement in a scene from Captain America number 602. In 2010, Marvel corrected any future reprints of that story, but conservatives especially criticized the issue. Oh, conservatives, don't mess with the comic books. Y'all do too much now. I'm sorry if you guys are any of you guys are conservatives. I'm not, obviously. Number 11. I actually have one of these books. Batman alter ego Bruce Wayne's back was broken by Bane in 1993 Nightfall storyline. This led to Night Quest, in which Jean-Paul Valley took over as the new Batman. Slowly it became apparent to readers that the unstable Jean-Paul went too far as the Batman, at one point letting one of his enemies die. Readers' angry letters were featured in Batman comic books at this time. It turned out readers were never supposed to like Jean-Paul. A rehabilitated Bruce returned in Night's End, outwitted Jean-Paul into giving up the role of Batman. I have the comic, and I don't know what number it is, with the Jean-Paul Batman with the really, really freaky outfit with his arms crossed. It's just kind of him on the front page. I never understood that either, but never really got into it. And number 12, started in 1994, the multi-year Clone Saga, I have this as well, shook Spider-Man fans to the core as it was revealed that Peter Parker had been a clone. Remember that? All along, and his entire life was a lie. Ben Reilly took over as a new Spider-Man. I remember that. And a large number of readers revolted. By 1996, Peter Parker was restored as the one and only Spider-Man. Number 13, Batman. The second Robin, Jason Todd, died in 1988 after fans were asked to vote. So I didn't know this. Vote over the phone to determine his fate. Todd was seen for well over a decade as the one dead character who would never return. But in 2005, Under the Hood reintroduced Jason as the Red Hood, and Jason is now a regular character with his own comic book series. Yeah, this was a big Batman storyline. Besides a killing joke when the Joker shot Batgirl and then she came Oracle and all that kind of good stuff. But if you guys haven't, I don't think it's on Netflix anymore. It used to be. It was called Under the Red Hood, and it told that story, which was really, really good. That's one thing DC does really good. They do good comic books into animated movies. They haven't been very successful as doing a live action movie, except for the Batman series, I guess the Dark Knight series, and this latest Man of Steel. And we don't know what's going to happen with Superman versus Batman, but they've been more successful with the animated films. I've watched Justice League War over again. Justice League Doom is good. Infinite Crisis is good. There's some good animated DC movies. They're really decent. The Wonder Woman animated movie is really, really good. So, and a Batman Apocalypse, there's some really, really good ones. So if you can check them out, you can probably find them somewhere really, really inexpensive. Check them out; they're really, really good. If you don't know anything about comic books, you don't want to read, but you want to know some of the stories because they do follow some of the stories pretty closely. Check them out. You get the origin of Wonder Woman in her solo outing in an animation. The Batman Superman Apocalypse kind of tells you the story of Darkseid and that whole gang with Granny Goodness and the Furies and Big Barda. You get some of the stuff that's in the comic books. It's been in the comic books for years. You get those in that, so that's why I like the DC animation, because they do a really good job at retelling their stories and reinterpreting it for this generation, because they've all come out within the last 5-6 years. So check those out. Number 14. Peter Parker's then girlfriend Gwen Stacy was murdered by the Green Goblin in 1973. Amazing Spider-Man 121. In Amazing Spider-Man 121. At the time, it was the most controversial comic book story ever. Writer Jerry Conway told CNN that fans continued to criticize and reference the story decades after it was published, but he has never regretted it, since it allowed Peter to be with his true love, Mary Jane Watson. But in Spider-Man number 2, the lead character in Divergent, she was Mary Jane. They cut it all out. We won't see her. And she says if they ask her to come back in future Amazing Spider-Man movies, she's not going to do it. Of course, she has the Divergent thing now, which is taken off fairly well. But yeah, it's because they wanted to focus on Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker. But is Gwen Stacy going to die in Amazing Spider-Man number 2? We'll see on May 3rd? I think it's the same day as Free Comic Book Day. And if you guys haven't listened to my interview with the founder of Free Comic Book Day, Joe Field, look down in some of the archives and you'll see Free Comic Book Day with Joe Field. Listen to that. It's a really, really good interview. With him, and I like talking to him. He's a good guy, and got a lot of information, and that's coming up. We have less. Wow, it's like 2 weeks away, right? 2-3 weeks, because Easter's next. 3 weeks away. 3 weeks away, it will be Free Comic Book Day and the release of this Amazing Spider-Man number 2, and then later on in the month, I think the 23rd, the 27th, we have X-Men: Days of Future Past. A lot of stuff going on. They are breaking me. So what else do we have? Well, we'll take one more break. Might take a couple more breaks, but we're going to take a break right now, and we'll be right back. I don't know. I like that song. Don't drive with your headphones on. That's not really recommended. So don't take her advice because you'll be dead or in jail. Anyhow, welcome back. It's the 5x5 Fanboy Weekly. I'm your host, David. And I said I'm going to keep it under an hour. We are 49 minutes in, and I don't have too much else to talk about. So I know you guys have sleep to do, or whenever, wherever, however you are listening to me tonight or whenever. I know you have better things to do than listen to me ramble about comic books, and I lost one. Anyhow, welcome back. So, did you guys hear that Marvel, this a couple weeks ago, they said they have all their movies mapped out to 2028, like for a year? Can y'all believe that? 2028? That's 14 years. I will be too old to be talking about comic books then. 14 years of Marvel movies. Can DC get two more? Really? And there is some controversy right now with the release of Superman, Batman, and I think, is it the third Captain America movie? Or the Avengers Age of Ultron. There's a controversy about the dates, and Marvel says we're not moving. This is our world. DC just lives in it, right? And DC's like, well, somebody needs to move their date, but we're not moving either. I think if it's the Justice League movie, the Superman Batman thing, versus I think it is Captain America. I think they would be 2016. I think they would be, somebody needs to move. That's just too much, because somebody's going to lose, and it's probably going to be DC. But since everybody's kind of waiting to see what Gal Gadot's going to do in Superman, Batman, Marvel might be surprised. This, it's the third, a threequel, so to speak, of the Captain America franchise. We can see it. We did have some cliffhangers, and we'll probably be coming off the high of Avengers. So I don't know. Somebody needs to think about it. Anyhow, that's not what I'm talking about. Now, earlier I was talking about Archie and shocking things that happens in the comic books. Well, like I said, I've never picked up a Life with Archie comic book. Never ever. I'm going to this week, just so when it ends and they kill him and stuff, I want to be a part of that. But I never have. But there's one book that's got, and I talked about this other day on my new show, which I'll talk about a little bit later. There's this very, very hot right now. I mean, when I say hot, it's hot. And they're sold out everywhere. Where the first issue I didn't get, and I did lose the auction because I just couldn't justify the price on eBay. I was winning the auction at $5.50 plus, I think, $4.50 shipping, $10. That was my max total. And so I was winning up until about 6 hours ago. And you know how you get to little you've been outbid, raise your maximum bid message on your phone, and I looked, it had jumped up to $15.50 for the issue plus the shipping. This is how hot this comic book is, and it comes from Archie, and it is the Afterlife with Archie series. I was going to pick this up, and then I'm like, because I read the different blogs and, comic resources and things like that and things on Twitter. And I'm like, this book is getting way too much attention, because I've seen number one. I walked past the number one issue 1,000 times, 1,000 times. And I'm like, not my thing. Only thing that I really wanted from Archie was the Kevin Keller series and the first introduction of Kevin Keller. And this I failed on. I did get number two. But the Afterlife with Archie, well, I did get number one, it's the reprint. But I now want the reprint of number 4 because the cover's really cool. It's sad that you buy one comic book, then you buy the variant. It's a variant copy. Then you buy the variant, then you're paying $6 for the same story, right? It's too much. And that's what I spent way too much money on comic books. I'm not going to tell you how much I spent, but I spent way too much on comic books this week. And I'm like, and then I have stuff I need to get on Wednesday. See, this is when I get really, really, really impulsive and crazy, and start doing it, and I'm like, okay, you need to back it on off, right? But I don't because I'm crazy like that. But Afterlife with Archie, that was written by Roberto Aguirre Sacasa, and I know I'm butchering that name, so I'm sorry. And the artwork is done by Francesco Francavilla. Um, and this is where the title of today's podcast comes in. Riverdale meets The Walking Dead, because it's just that, Archie and them live in Riverdale. Did I say NM? Archie and his friends live in Riverdale, and it's a zombie apocalypse. It starts very simply, and I can say, Sabrina the Teenage Witch is in the series, and she has something to do with it within the Necronomicon, and bringing Jughead, one of the premier characters of Archie comics, bringing his dog Hot Dog back. Remember the white shaggy dog from the comics? He gets hit by Reggie. Remember Reggie from the comics? And Jughead wants to save him, can't save him. He dies. Sabrina, goes against her aunt's wishes and uses magic. And they kind of tip their hats to Pet Cemetery. She's like, you bury your own. I don't know if they did that on purpose, because it was very Pet Cemetery to me. And so, of course, Hot Dog comes back, and Hot Dog he's more dog hot, because Hot Dog is not playing. He takes a big chunk out of Jughead's arm, and then they do it like a countdown, just like some of the zombie movies, like how long, 10 hours before infection, 5 hours. Then it goes after he's bitten by his dog. It goes 6 hours after infection, and then of course Jughead turns out to be the lead zombie, and he eats Big Ethel. I remember his not his girlfriend, the one who wants to be his girlfriend. And then they're all trying to survive. They're at a Halloween party, and I love the colors. If you guys don't know, my favorite color is orange, and they use a ton of orange and black. So it's very Halloween-ish looking, but the writing is good. You get that whole horror factor, and like you get the oh my god factor, and it is really, really good. And I see why it's lived up to the hype. And the stories, it's on number 4, so you guys can pick it up relatively. You can't get a number 1 without spending at least $20 on it right now. I'm still trying to get a number 1 on eBay, but I'm not going to spend. I'll give you 10, but I'm not going to give you 20 just because I can't justify it. But there's really cool variant art for looks like just about each of the issues, some that I haven't even seen. And then with the number 1 from some of the comic book stores, they had you could have your comic book logo put on a variant cover for your store. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's a good story, and like I said, it's getting a lot of hype. I've enjoyed it. I read all 4 like within 30 minutes, I think, just because the story was really, really good. And the thing is, I wanted to see what happened. I'm like, okay, what's going to happen? And the variant, which is not out yet for... There's a second variant for issue number 4, which with Archie's dog, who ends up, and I think it's one of those scenes. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening, right? In number 4, and I don't want to spoil it if you guys haven't read number 4 yet. There's a moment between what you know how you look at your dog and you trying to think what he's saying to you or thinking, and we get to see inside Vegas. We get to see inside his head what he's saying to his owner Archie, and it's like, oh, this is really happening. And there's a moment with Archie and his folks, and in every issue at the very beginning, somebody's speaking, and then you kind of figure out who it is. And the 4th is Archie speaking, and there's Veronica, and then at the very end, I'll say this: Jughead is obviously the leader of the zombies, and he's pointing at Lodge Manor. So number 5 is probably going to be a Scream. It's very good. So if you guys haven't read that, or you want to start reading one of them, this is one to pick up because it's still in its infancy on issue number 4, so check it out. And then the other stuff I got that I'm probably not. There's some I'm not gonna keep up with. Um, Iron Fist #1. I like the story. I'm not a big remember was it Power Man and Iron Fist? I mean Iron Fist #1. I'm probably not gonna. I might get #2 just because the last issue of the Instructable Hulk, where Bruce Banner gets shot in the head, and that starts a new series called Hulk. It's gonna be Hulk #1. It comes out on the 6th, this week, on the 16th, on Wednesday. Nightcrawler 1, I will not be picking this one back up. It was good to see Nightcrawler back and alive and with his girlfriend Amanda Sefton. Not a big fan. And then Superman Wonder Woman #7, which a lot of people are talking about this book. It's really good. I would like to see a variant of it, but the cover has Diana with her arms around Superman, and Superman has been totally emaciated or destroyed by the nuclear bomb that they set off in the reactor when Diana's sword split the atom, and he protected her, but he gets better. It's kind of a present day flashback to what just happened. They're not sure that they got rid of Zon and Feora, but I'm pretty sure that they did. And this was issue #7, and then it's kind of gets them even closer together as a couple. Good issue. It hasn't been good. They kind of wrapped that story up, but then Doomsday makes an appearance, and he's tearing up sharks and stuff up under the water. Didn't get that, but I'm sure that will be revealed in issue 8. And then the big one for this week that everybody's talking about is Batman Eternal. So another book, if you're just starting comic book collecting, you just start reading, not even collecting, just want to be a casual reader, Batman Eternal, and part of the whole New 52, #1 came out this week, and it's kind of a gritty story that's focusing on, and I just realized I don't have the Jim Gordon, Commissioner Gordon cover. I'm gonna go get that. I want that. And he's the one that's in hot water, not Batman. It's him. And I don't know what's gonna happen in the story. But there's so much. They say there's so much story to tell that they're gonna release one every week. So we'll have another Batman Eternal #2 out next week. So grab it, $2.99. So it's very affordable, or even justifiable comic. And then you guys, you have to be very careful when you're buying comic books on eBay, especially when people tell you they are not collectors. If they're not collectors, then you need. Remember that old thing about that Medea used to say? No, or was it Maya Angelou? Maya Angelou, I said Medea, but she said it in her movie though. Maya Angelou says, when people show you who they are or tell you who they are, believe them. Like if somebody says I'm a bad person and they're telling you that to your face, believe they're bad. If somebody tells you I'm a little crazy, believe them. They're a little crazy. So this person in the eBay ad, she says she wasn't a comic book collector. She didn't know about comic books, and she thought they was all in very good condition. Or great condition, or whatever she said. And it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 comics, which they're decent enough. I'm not going to slam it too hard. I was going to resell these, but I just kind of think they're going to be for my collection, mainly because they're the European issued ones that has like the pence price on it. Like I have a Justice League of America #164, 12 pence. A Kamandi, the last boy on earth, who I don't know who that is, from DC, #58, 12 pence. Wonder Woman #238. This one was 35 cents. This was an American issue one. Then there was a Superman that was an American issue. Then there was a Superboy, the New Adventures of Superboy #2, 15 pence. So I don't know the collectability of these when they were issued in a different country under the different countries' money currency. So So a lot of those were like that, and then they're stamped. Some of them were stamped with the 12 pence price on it. So, which some of them were cool because in the Wonder Woman number 35 that I got, it was advertising for people to be in the new Superman movie. So, that's what what was this? This is late 70s, 1977. So I was like, oh, okay. So there's some good stories, but be careful when you're buying comic books from people online who say there aren't collectors, because 10 times out of 10 is probably true. Okay, well, we're going to take one more break, I promise, and then we'll be right back to wrap up things with this year's GLAAD Media Award winner. And we'll talk about those comics, the ones who were nominated and the one who eventually won. And then we'll wrap things up for tonight. Thank you guys for listening. It's the 5x5 Fanboy Weekly. We'll be right back.
Yeah, be cool, just move with the groove. No funk in here, the beat way too slow. Let's just do what we came to do. Just vibe with it, vibe with it. Be cool, just move with the groove. Let's go. No funk in here, the beat way too slow. Let's just do what we came to do. Just vibe with it, Yeah, be cool, just move with the groove. No funk in here, the beat way too slow. Let's just do what we came to do. Just vibe with it, vibe with it. Be cool, just move with the groove. Let's go. Funk in here, the beat way too slow. Let's just do what we came to do. Just vibe with it, unleash the verbal blessing, prolific with verbal lessons. So kick back, chill, relax, and learn a lesson. No 9mm, no heaters, or spit the Wesson. You'll find this rhyme secure without question. This time, let's vibe one time without weapons and groove through the music in the smooth session. This time, let's vibe one time without weapons and the beat to me like sap through a tree. It's in me. The rap happens to set me free. Instantly when the mic touch this MC. Without the mic, this MC feel empty. I'm telling y'all, it's the lyrical recipe, lyrical ecstasy. Hearing no less from me, I accept and expect no less than the best. And inject intellect without disrespect. Come on, be cool, just move with the groove. No funk in here, the beat way too slow. Let's just do what we came to do. Just vibe, yeah. Be cool, just move with the groove. No funk in here, the beat way too slow. Let's just do what we came to do. Just vibe with it, It's like an epidemic, pop star gimmick. Hit it, get it, then realize that you in it and you're finished. Whole dream diminished. See, I play the season, y'all have a scrimmage. I spit with reason, y'all hip the image. But I believe the dream has no limits. I believe that's the whole reason we live it. But they don't get it, they like it's not right, is it? No visit, hip-hop here to stay, no shizit. We gonna get it, new improved music, move and groove with it. Choose who you get with. I smack rap back like this do hoes. My flow hard like Dick, get the skimpy clothes on individuals when anything goes. I play a pick 'em like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Got soul, got so much funk up in the rap, I should pack a fat bowl. Y'all should kick back, relax, and just roll with me, vibe with me, roll with me, vibe with me, roll with me, come on and vibe with me. Hip hop ain't dead, just keep it alive with me. Be cool, just move with the groove. No funk in here, the beat way too slow. Let's just do what we came to do, just vibe. Let's just do what we came to do, just vibe with it, vibe with it. Be cool, just move with the groove. No funk in here, the beat way too slow. Let's just do what we came to do, just vibe with it, vibe with it, vibe with it.
I was gonna say something really, really quirky with that song, but in my head it even sound bad, so I'm not gonna repeat it. Welcome back. Last segment of Fanboy Weekly tonight. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you guys for listening. Thanks for all the listens and the likes I've gotten since we've been on. Thank you guys. Desert, Grandpa Al, Ken Boggle. Thank you guys for checking me out tonight. I do appreciate that. If you have any ideas for the show, you have any comments, criticism, but be nice. You can always check out the blog or hit me up on Facebook or send me a tweet, which the tweets have been coming in pretty regularly tonight. I do appreciate that as well. Before we end up tonight, I do have a new show on Thursday nights on Blog Talk Radio. Since I haven't got, well, I wanted to be separate from Spreaker. I wanted to do this over there, which is a call-in format. My comic book club, so to speak, Thursday nights at 9 p.m. You can call in. Oh, I don't have the number right in front of me. But if you look up Comic Booked, COMICBOOKED, or 5 BYYFIVE on Blog Talk Radio. You can find me at 9 o'clock. We're talking about comic books. The two comics right now currently that I'm reviewing and talking about weekly are going to be Inhuman and Hulk, when Hulk starts on Wednesday. And I'm not a Hulk fan. I just thought it'd be interesting because it's the number one. Or we might even do Batman Eternal, since it's $2.99. So tell me what you guys want to hear. We're going to talk about what's hot this week, and it's just strictly comic books, not the extra stuff that I kind of throw in here, but it's comic books. This is mainly, this has really been a comic book show tonight, but it's more about comic book reviews and talking to you guys and listening to you guys talk about what you guys like or what you guys are reading. So check that out on Blog Talk Radio Thursdays at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And also coming up, this will also be on Comic Booked and also here as a podcast. I'll be talking to two guests coming up. One, which I just ordered his graphic novel from eBay. Peter's, I'm going to pronounce his name wrong. Peter Simeti, author of The Chair graphic novel. We'll be talking to him because he's transitioning his graphic novel into a movie, and he has a Kickstarter coming up. So we're going to be talking to him in the near future. And also the marvel.wordpress.com, Barnaby Montgomery, he's going to be on our show talking about a really new vampire comic that he has coming out soon. So we're going to talk to him. Check out his blog on WordPress. It's the Marvel Book, TheMarvelBook.wordpress.com. We'll be talking to him as well. And check out Peter Simeti and The Chair graphic novel. You can type that into Google and check him out as well. We'll be talking to both of those guys in the very near future. But last night, GLAAD had their 25th annual media awards. Now, what they do, they honor and recognize outstanding films, media, whether it's in print, television, on the big screen. They honor these movies that have positive images of lesbian, gay, bi, and the transgender community. And they've been doing that obviously for 25 years, but they do have a particular category that I like. It is the outstanding comic book that GLAAD recognizes each year during their media awards. And this year's nominees were Batwoman, which, you know, Batwoman is a lesbian, Fearless Defenders, Husbands, which I had never heard. Well, I've seen the cover, but I never knew what it was. Husbands, which is derived from a web series that transcended into a comic book. Life with Archie, The Married Life, and Young Avengers. And out of all those books, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't have any one of them. I can get the Batman. The Batwoman. Batwoman 17, issue 17, I think, is where she asked her companion to marry her, and I don't have it, but I can get it relatively inexpensive. It was hard to find, but I think the story's died down, so it's more readily available and a little bit more cost effective. But pick these books up. But the winner, well, I'll just read it to you. Marvel's latest Young Avengers series by Kieran Gillen and Jamie McKelvey won the GLAAD Media Award for Outstanding Comic Book last night in Los Angeles. Young Avengers, which featured Loki, Miss America, Marvel Boy. Remember a couple weeks ago I was asking whatever happened to Marvel Boy? I'm going to do a show on that because I like that character. Marvel Boy, Kate Bishop, the Kate Bishop Hawkeye, which her solo series is doing very well. And the homosexual couple, Wiccan and Hulking, wrapped up with its 15th issue in January. So it's over. In addition to Gillen and McKelvey, other creators who worked on the book included Mike Norton, Chris Anka, Stephen Thompson, Becky Cloonan, Ming Doyle, Joe Quinones, Matthew Wilson, Jordi Belair, Morris Wicks, Lee Luridge, Clayton Cowles, Lauren Sakovich, and Jake Thomas. Let's see. Other nominees this year include, of course, Batwoman, which won 2 years ago. And then I also read the other ones. And also the offering from Archie, Kevin Keller won last year in either 2012 or 2013 for the Kevin Keller series. And that's part of the Married Life. That's in there as well. But the Kevin Keller solo series won that award. So congratulations to Marvel once again. They are everywhere for winning for Outstanding Comic Book from the GLAAD organization. So I looked for that. And it's kind of expensive. They said the series just wrapped, so I wasn't able to get it. But I know if I look hard enough, I'll be able to find it eventually. I was at my comic book store today, and I didn't see it. They had there's two different series. There's a 2005 series. Then the second volume is from 2012. So not to get those mixed up. But the second volume has the gay characters, so it must be really powerful if GLAAD thinks that it was outstanding from a writing perspective and the portrayal of the couple in the book. So lastly, I think I have talked enough. One app I want you guys to check out. It is on the Google Play Store. And it is called Comic Book It. I've done some fun things with the app. It's really cool. It's not nothing too major, but there's an app, and I don't know if it's I haven't checked to see if it's on the iOS store yet. But it's a pretty cool app where you take a picture. Either you're taking a picture, or a selfie, or a picture of something you see. I think the first one I did, I took some pictures of some birds and and then you make a comic book. You can make it, you know how you can use the different filters to make it look more cartoonish, and then it has bubbles. There is a free version, and if you want the extra word bubbles, there's a pro version. It gives you like 2 or 3 different styles for a storyboard and how you want it to look, and it's really cool. I'm gonna do a couple more of them, but sometimes I think I don't have enough time to be fooling with that, so I don't. I have too many other things going on. But check out Comic Book It on the Google Play Store for your Android device, and it may be on. I'm sure if it's on Android, it's on the iOS platform as well. What else is there? I think that's it. Go out, get some comic books this week. Check out, Wednesday is Comic Book Day. Hulk is coming out. Check me out on Blog Talk Radio for Comic Booked. We'll be doing some things over there. Thank you guys for listening. I'm David. It is Fanboy Weekly. Sorry I talked too long tonight, but I had fun. I hope you guys had fun as well. We'll see you next time. Good night.